Shabbat Shalom! I'm so excited to be here with you to celebrate Shabbat, to welcome Shabbat, and I brought my friend with me. You remember Ellie the camel? Shalom, I'm Ellie the camel. Ellie is a little bit astounded that it's kind of cold here because in Israel, what's the weather like? In Israel, it's getting pretty warm, and this week we had snow, but it's still spring. And we're going to celebrate Shabbat together, whatever the weather is. So, Shabbat Shalom, a little bit early. Welcome. We say, Ellie, thanks for joining us. Todah rabah. Thanks, Ellie, for joining us. And let's sing a little bit with our good friend, Alan Goodis.
Shabbat is here. Shabbat is here. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Candles burning bright on a Friday night. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Won't you sing that with me? Shabbat is here. Shabbat is here. Shabbat is here. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Candles burning bright on a Friday night. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Let's say Shabbat Shalom to some people. Shabbat Shalom to the moms and the dads. Shabbat Shalom to the grandparents. Shabbat Shalom to the dogs and the cats. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Shabbat is here. Shabbat is here. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Candles burning bright on a Friday night. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. If there is somebody special, nearby or far away, who you would like to wish a Shabbat Shalom to, on your own or with the help from your grown-up, type their name right here into our chat so we can wish all our friends and loved ones near and far a Shabbat Shalom. Let's sing again. Shabbat is here. Shabbat is here. I'm so glad that Shabbat is here. Candles burning bright on a Friday night. I'm so glad
what we do on Shabbat. Many of us gather for prayer. Many of us gather for Shabbat dinner. And what's special about that dinner? It might be something you eat. Wait till we get to our story. We'll have something about a special food. We light candles. We have challah. The challah is a big hit in our house. We drink grape juice, or if we're bigger, we might drink wine. And we might even have our parents bless us. All sorts of really, really good things. And one of the things we do on Shabbat is we pray. So the first thing we're going to do right now is, in terms of prayer, is turn to our very favorite and famous prayer, Shema. Some Jews say Shema every night before they go to bed, and we do in my house. It's super special, and it gets us ready for the evening and for heading to sleep to think about that. And some of us pray it every day, and some of us pray it on Shabbat. Shema says there's one God, and it also tells us to listen. So I invite you to close your eyes, because sometimes we listen better when our eyes are shut, and let's sing Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. Another thing we do on Shabbat is we remember. We remember that God created the world. We remember that our people were slaves in Egypt and now we're free. Those are two reasons we celebrate Shabbat. And we remember things that we're thankful for, that we want to say thank you to God for. Our moms, our dads, our grandmas, our grandpas, our brothers, our sisters, our pets, the sky, the grass and flowers, that we have food and on our table, that we have houses, who knows what, that we get to go to school. So let's sing Thank You God with Alan, and later this evening think about and maybe talk about with the people you're having dinner with what it is you're thankful for this Shabbat.
Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. On Shabbat we can sing, thank you for the candles and thank you for the wine. Thank you for the challah that always tastes so fine. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Thank you for the moms and thank you for the dads. They love us when we're happy, they love us when we're sad. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Who is someone, or maybe what is something that you are really thankful for this Shabbat? Take a moment, think about it, maybe whisper it in the ear of the person you're sitting next to, or with help from a grown-up, type it right here into our chat so we can sing about all the things that we're thankful for. Let's sing one more time. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God. Baruch Atah Adonai, thank you God.
I love a good story, and I also love a really good story that has fun things, what I call props, to hold up and tell you what's going on. Like, here's one of my props. It's my favorite rubber chicken. In fact, my story doesn't mention chicken, but it mentions chicken soup, and this rubber chicken was so cute. I kind of had to show them to you. I don't really know what the chicken's name is, frankly. So I'm going to share with you a fun story. It's kind of like a poem. It might remind you of other poems that repeat certain lines that you might have heard in school or at home or in your favorite books. And I'll tell you that this story is super special because I have things to help me tell it to you These are special props that were made by my mommy, who taught kindergarten for a lot of years, and she thinks about what would make it fun to tell a story. So here we go. This is a story called Matzo ball soup. And I don't know about you all, but when it got cold this week, even those few flakes of snow, not so many that we saw, but it got cold, I wanted to have soup. So I picked a story that was about soup, and some of us have chicken soup or matzo ball soup on Shabbat. Some of us have it any other day of the week too, but it makes me think of Shabbat. Matzo ball soup. This is the broth that Bubby brewed. Bubby's a grandmother. So here's our pot. Bubby's brewing in a pot, so are we. Here goes, keeps going. These are the balls that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. So here are our matzo balls. We put them in our pot. And there we go. Keep going. This is the matzah meal that was rolled into balls that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. These are the eggs that were bought by Zadie, by Grandpa. These are the eggs that were bought by Zadie that were added to the matzah meal that was rolled into balls that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. Bobbing is like up and down, and if you have a pot of soup, your matzo balls might bob up and down. These are the carrots that gave the flavor, that were cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie, that were added to the matzah meal, that was rolled into balls, that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. The matzo balls are cooking. These are the bowls, here we go, all shiny and special, that contained the carrots, that gave the flavor, that cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie, that were added to the matzah meal. Here we go. That was rolled into balls that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. We're getting closer to eating that soup. This is the table, imagine your Shabbat table, that was polished and set, on which were the bowls, all shiny and special, that contained the carrots, that gave the flavor, and cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie, that were added to the matzah meal, that was rolled into balls, that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. These are the candles. Now imagine your Shabbat candles on the table. These are the candles. Here's Bubby lighting the candles. These are the candles that brightened the table that was polished and set, on which were the bowls, all shiny and special, that contained the carrots, that gave the flavor, and cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie and added to the matzah meal, that was rolled into balls, that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. Say that fast. Bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. This is the challah. Ooh, imagine that super yummy challah on our tables. Braided and warm, that was placed near the candles, that brightened the table, that was polished and set, on which were the bowls, all shiny and special, that contained the carrots, that gave the flavor, that were cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie, that were added to the matzah meal, that was rolled into balls, that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. What are we missing? We have candles, we have challah, we need wine, or grape juice. This is the wine, fruit from the vine, that went into the challah, braided and warm, that was placed near the candles, that brightened the table, that was polished and set, on which were the bowls, all shiny and special, that contained the carrots, that gave the flavor, that cooked with the eggs, that were bought by Zadie, that were added to the matzah meal, that was rolled into balls, that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed. Here goes, let's see. So here's the wine and the Kiddush cup, and these are the prayers of the Jewish people, right? The candle blessing, Kiddush, and Hamotzi, that were said by the family to thank God for the candles, the wine, and the challah. And of course, the balls that bobbed in the broth that Bubby brewed, and that really good chicken soup. So whatever you have for dinner tonight, think about that soup that Bubby made, and who knows, maybe if you're a soup lover or a matzo ball lover, you could even make or get some chicken soup this weekend and have some matzo balls, or even make them. Matzo balls are super fun to make. So when we think about Shabbat, we think about special foods. Some of us make our table extra pretty. In our house, we put some flowers out and maybe a clean tablecloth, and we sit down even for whatever time everyone in our house can sit still in, and we say the blessings. And one of the things we do, one blessing that we do, is the blessing for our children. We bless our children. Parents, you can put your hands on their heads or their shoulders. Alan's going to sing it in a moment. It's called Yevarechecha, or the Priestly Benediction. In addition to what Alan's singing, I invite you to say something to your child. Maybe, may you be the best person you can be. Maybe say their name and the names of the generations who came before you, like may you be like mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, or Bubby and Zadie. And then you can say the words of the priestly blessing. You could sing them like Alan is, or just say, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious unto you. May God's face grant you peace. And I can get you those words at another moment too, or you can listen to Alan singing and see if your kids will sit still enough, long enough for you to hold them and bless them for those few moments. So let's turn to those words of blessing.
Right now is the special time for parents to bless their children. So if you are a child and your parents are nearby, ask them to come sit with you, put an arm around them, cuddle up really close. If you are a parent watching this without your child, that's okay too. Just put a hand over your heart as a sign that you are thinking about that loved one as we sing these special words of blessing. Ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na, ya na 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 na. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yivuneka, Yisa Adonai Ve'asem lecha shalom, Ve'asem lecha shalom.
So I just want to say thank you so much for welcoming Shabbat with us. Thank you from me. Thank you from my rubber chicken. Anyone who wants to name that chicken, let me know. Thank you from Ellie the camel. Shabbat shalom. Thank you from Alan Goodis, and I'm thankful to Alan Goodis for leading this Tot Shabbat with me. And thank you to everyone who joined us. I'm Rabbi Greene, and I'm so happy to celebrate Shabbat with you this way. And pretty soon, I hope, pretty soon we can gather in person. Not quite yet, but I look forward to seeing everyone's faces and wishing you a Shabbat Shalom. For now, I'll do it this way and say Shabbat Shalom. Have a great and peaceful and fun Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Let's try to sing that a little bit faster. Are you ready? Cause here we go. We sing bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bim.